25 years of Vampire the Masquerade presents The Phoenix Crusade. Hey folks, Brennan here. Thanks for tuning in to our 25 years of Vampire the Masquerade podcast. If you want to reach out or follow us, we're on Facebook and YouTube as 25 years of Vampire the Masquerade, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch as 25 years of VTM, and on our website at 25yearsofvtm.com. Support us on Patreon at patreon.com/25 years of Vampire the Masquerade. Thanks for listening and enjoy the show.
We last left off, the idea was that the intention, Slappy wanted to contact and get a hold of Balthazar.
Yes, that is correct. I wanted to get in touch with Balthazar and bring Sully along since he has Ventru connections.
So that may be good for the Ventru Connect, and I get that that's what you want to do. How does Slappy plan on getting a hold of Balthazar?
I got his number from Genghis, so I guess I would give him a call.
All right. Now, you didn't just get a number. You were told where he hangs out.
Oh, right, at the bowling alley.
So you got a little insight into where that might be. He did tell you that in the city there's a bowling alley he likes to haunt or be around or be about, and he could be there. It's up to you if you choose to give him a call first or not.
I guess I would give him a call first. It seems rude otherwise.
It is an interesting affair, but it's really me asking you as an ST. I'll put this in another term. What is Slappy's idea of giving hospitality or care to Domain? Does he care about such things? Or is it just, I'm going to call him and tell him we're coming by, or text him, got your number from so-and-so, we're going to show up? This is an opportunity for you to tell me how Slappy likes to do.
No, Slappy would definitely honor, Domain and whatnot, and would give him a call and, ask for permission for a meeting with him to discuss some things that are better discussed in person, and that he would be bringing along Sully.
Sorry, I heard all that. All right, not asking for anything special then. But what we're going to say is that Slappy's still going to be Slappy, right? He's a blues singer. This is a guy who hangs out at certain spots. It's not used to doing his own phone calls for a lot of things, especially in terms of necessarily meeting someone and giving a lot of hubbub that's been going on. The call is tentative, right? Meaning that tentative is a bad word, but it's touch and go, the talk. Because when you call to talk to him, you are listening to somebody who's communicating more with sounds than they are, you know what I mean? It's like you call and you hear the phone pick up, you hear, yeah. And you go through the, hi, this is Slappy. Just wanted to know if you had time to talk, if I could meet you at the bowling alley, got your number from Genghis. And more or less goes like, yeah. Yeah, sure. I'll be there all night. 8:00.
Slappy would agree to these terms.
Right. And it's as simple as that. What you get from it, either he's drunk or you're dealing with somebody who probably just doesn't give a fuck. I'll leave you to represent which one it is.
Right.
But since you are picking up your tried and true compatriot there, Sully, Sully, are you doing anything different? Are you just going along for the ride saying, cool, where it's there, we're going, let's have the meeting?
Yeah, I'm coming along for the ride there. From when he got picked up, he's following through. He's actually, you know what? That's a good question. Once you get in the car, he'll be like, wait, so who are we gonna go meet?
Slappy would look at him and just say, we're meeting with Balthazar.
Balthazar. Wait, why?
Got his number from Genghis. Genghis said he might know more what's going on, considering he's got his fingers in a couple different pots.
Oh, you mean regarding the Anita riot thing?
Yeah, regarding that as well as our other situation.
Wait, what do you mean other situation?
Man, you know what I mean, other situation. Putting the pine. That whole fucking thing that we're dragged into.
Hold on. He'll put his hands on like to the side as he just takes a look. They don't know about that, right?
Slappy will like kind of tense up on the wheel, and he'll be like, Balthazar doesn't know about it.
So we're not bringing it up to Balthazar, right?
Look, man, I'm just looking for answers, right? Like, I don't know, man.
It's all right, Slappy. I got to throw it out there. I want you to follow my train of thought here. Remember that we're vampires. You got that, right?
Slappy will like look at you and like he'll narrow his eyes, like not even really focusing on the road now. And he'll just be like, yeah, hard to forget.
Right. So you know the shit level of treachery that comes from dealing with others.
Yeah, I understand the shit level of treachery that goes with dealing with others, but I mean, fuck, man, I'm a blues player. Like, I got
And
shit to take care of.
No. Don't get me wrong. We're going to get through this. But I would kindly suggest that we don't bring that up to him. Because if he's not in our camp, he's going to tell, and then that's the end of us. We can't let anything like that get out. We just need to know where the pieces are. He'll lean back on the car seat and just kind of like roll his head back for a moment. He's like, the way the game is played, you don't strike until all the pieces are in play. You don't reveal your hand unless it's absolutely necessary. Otherwise, it's too late and you're giving someone the opportunity to turn cold and or do something else.
Well, you're going to be real upset with what Warren did then. Genghis knows
Besides, we're
about the whole
close.
plot. Warren's
Bob,
saying,
how do I, Bob? I would like to know whether or not this is a frenzy point for Sully.
What I will say is don't you need to know what he mean, right? I would say that there would be need more. Like, okay, Warren said something, but what do you mean?
Right. He'll like open up his eyes and he'll just like lean his head forward and just put his hands on his thighs and he'll look over at Slappy as he drives. What do you mean by that?
I mean, he told him about the whole plot. Then just sang like a canary.
I want to give Warren. I want to give Warren the. I don't. He'll bite into his knuckle. When you mean he sang like a canary, I need specifics. When you say the whole plot, I need to know specifically what plot. How much does Genghis know?
Slappy will very slowly and while enunciating say, he knows we are going to try to find the prince.
Yeah, that's a resolve, composure, if you wish to maintain it at all.
I totally want to maintain it. Oops, wrong dice.
But he said he told him everything. What do you mean he told him everything? I mean, he could have left some stuff out, but not tonight. Not that conversation.
5 successes, sir.
That's more than enough for you to maintain ice, cool, skin in the game, okay. It's not to say that you didn't get angry or you didn't feel this fury. It's that you were able to keep a lid sealed on it.
He'll sigh.
What I'm going to
You
say,
have-
is that it's not unfair to do it, that in keeping that sealed in there, the Ventrue clan compulsion will be in effect for this scene.
Will do. He can't help but get like he'll look over at him. He's like, "Do you have Genghis's number?"
Slappy will shrug his shoulders and be like, "Yeah, I got Genghis's number. We got
Give
it
me your phone.
from." And Slappy will be like, "Okay, but just Genghis's number," and he'll like slide the phone over to him. He's like, "Don't be looking through my texts and shit."
He's ignoring Slappy as he's just frantically looking for Genghis's number.
And he does. It's like I'd say the second one in because he just called Balthazar. We'll leave that there, but that's you have it.
And he'll call Genghis on the way there.
Which from your phone, right? Just making sure I got that.
Oh, from from Slappy's phone because he's too he's too stuck right now as that compulsion takes him over.
You got it. You'll hear it pick up, and you'll hear, "What's up, Slap? You doing all right?"
Hey, this isn't Slap. It's actually Sully, Sullivan Carter. I don't believe we met properly. Is this Genghis?
You'll hear him clear his voice. He goes, "Yeah," and you have about 30 seconds to confirm Slappy's somewhere near you.
Oh, sure. Slappy.
Sup, Genghis?
I'll put you on speakerphone so that you know he's here. And you'll put him on speaker.
No, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure this was like he chose to do this is all.
No problem. I don't know how to put this out there, but I figured I'd give you a phone call because not only do I respect you, but I don't want to waste your time here. I heard you had a conversation with Warren a little bit earlier this evening. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Well, between you and I, Genghis, and with Slappy in the vehicle, of course, and Slappy done told me about it. Warren is fucking insane. All right? Warren is talking out of his ass, and I don't understand why he's going through this entire process to make me fucking freak out with poor Slappy here. Do you know the craziness of the shit that comes out of his mouth?
Whoa, my friend. We just met, right? I know I get that way sometimes. Things can get a hold of me, and whoo, you can blow your top. I was at a Bulls game once when they did that back-to-back championship stuff when they went that arena, and Michael Jordan's just dunking left and right on the Celtics, just making it a game of the night. And someone talked about how Larry Bird was better, and it was like who? And I remember this rage that hit me immediately, but it was all in fun, right? Had to go for a walk. It was crazy. But courtside tickets, right? Point I'm getting at is that let's just be cool. No matter where you're at, you can't be worth losing your lid over, well, the situation. You seem keyed up. Are you keyed up, Sully?
I'm a little disturbed by it. My apologies.
Yeah. All right. So you think he's crazy, or do you have any? Why are you? I thought Warren was like a friend of yours, isn't that right? Weren't you guys in like a peas in a pod?
You know when you're trying to save someone and you try really, really hard to kind of have them see the way, but sometimes you get that churlish character who just kind of goes rogue all the time. Yeah, that's Warren.
All right. I'm trying to figure out why you're calling and telling me. That's the thing.
Because I figured you'd rather I figured you'd rather hear from a person who's at least had some time in the game to know what type of things are being said. And even so, the shit that came out of his I don't know. I just had to throw it out there, Genghis. I hope you accept my apology on Warren's behalf for the shit that spewed out his mouth. But if he calls you worry as much as he calls me worry.
Oh, you don't understand how we work. I'm gonna judge him on his own too, right? He came to me face to face, man to man, one might say, and he said what he had to say, and so I'm gonna hold that having more weight. and on account of we're from the same club, if you know what I mean, that's going to be more important than you out of hot calling me up, sucking on, Ballard teat, telling me something different. You know what I mean? Like it's very high school. It's a very poor attempt to get a reaction out of me. And from what it sounds like, you must have heard that we had a chat.
I did.
Yeah, I want to believe that Warren's crazy, right? That'd be it. Except that Warren's got this thing going for him. He was a close friend of, a dear friend of ours passed, who really was murdered. I guess that goes for past when you weren't there. But the point is that word on the wire is that you were.
I was there.
So what do you know about it, guy?
He was in his office. He went down swinging. 6 confirmed bodies were taken down.
How do you know that? That's very specific.
Because I was there.
He'll hang up.
Son of a bitch! You're like, you hang up the phone.
Huh?
Slappy just keeps driving, and he shrugs his shoulders and he says, I mean, it is what it is at this point, right?
What the fuck is it with your clan? I don't get it. Are you all just like children? I'm sorry.
You know I'm on your side here.
So,
you know it.
As an ST, to make the call. I would say you made your composure roll so well that you're not going to go off the rails here, but you can role play how you like. You're just not at risk of frenzy. On the other hand, that doesn't speak for you, Slappy, but I'm going to call your role playing what I think would have been annoying about that statement. But you're totally good. And I'm going to leave on the table. You guys are aware why he just hung up, right?
I will say it passed over my head right now.
Okay. I won't make it a politics role because you have enough. What he asked you was, that's an oddly specific number. How do you know that's how it went down? And you said, because I was there. And then he hung up the phone.
He's just confirming our rumors. It's got to be it.
Confirming a rumor. Well, that's one way to look at it, but let's look at the other way that you don't think is obvious because you know how you walked up on the room, right? So you're coming from the level of you did stumble on it, but you weren't there when he died. You discovered what the remains were, right?
Right.
You never said that to Genghis.
That's true.
He doesn't know that perspective. What you said was, yeah, I was there, giving the impression, oh, yeah, he died and you were there to watch him.
Got it. Ah. He'll frantically look on the phone and he'll just text Genghis really quickly because words are going to pass him and he's as heated as he is with a cool head, but he's not going to give that fucking Brujah the satisfaction. I discovered him. I was there to see it. Not that I was enter, send.
So what all you're going to get back is, yeah, you're the guy to talk to about it.
He'll lean back and he'll just put the phone on the dashboard on the console and he'll look at Slappy. He's like, not a word to Balthazar.
Yeah, man, whatever you say. Not a word to Balthazar about it. We'll just talk about the Riot and Anita, getting them into the Primogen seat.
And or anything involving Carlisle or Courtney. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm gonna let you take lead because I know that you have a cool head about yourself. Just man,
you think I got a cool head? I'll take lead.
You weren't the one to spill the beans, right? It was just Warren.
I mean, it was Warren. I tried to dissuade him, but at a certain point, there was no going back. I mean, what was I supposed to do? He's over there spilling all the beans to Genghis, and Genghis is out there saying, well, I'm going to tell all the anarchs about this, and we're going to flee town.
Oh, for fuck's sake. You gotta, man, sometimes, you ever seen that movie Glengarry Glen Ross? Where he used to play?
No.
There's a scene at the end of the movie where Pacino's trying to close out on this deal that he had this guy on the hook. And Kevin Spacey comes in and he just ruins the deal. And Pacino just like loses his shit, much kind of like the same way I am now, except I have other reasons as to why. But he tells him, never open up your mouth until you know what the mark is. So if Warren's going out there, you got to help protect it, man. You got to tell him that Warren's fucking crazy. Then you got to take a look at Warren and tell him that he's fucking crazy. And to be honest, Slappy, I have a lot of things going on as well. Things with my family, things with my son. It's been distracting and it's been affecting me. I'm not going to lie about it. But if Warren can't keep up, this is exactly what we were talking about when we were talking about getting him blood and up and running again. If he can't keep with us, we have to put him down.
Slappy will like eyes will widen and he'll give a low whistle and he'll be like, wow, okay. Yeah. No, I don't think so, man.
No. I don't mean kill him. Obviously, only the prince has right to that. We might just have to put him in pine, box him up until God knows how long, until he gets rehabilitated. But we can't have a loose cannon like him out there if something like that happens.
I mean, I don't know how to tell you this, man, but we've been rolling with loose cannons this whole time. I don't know. I mean, like you said, I've got shit going on too, right? I got a brother. I'm scared every day that some stupid shit's going to happen to him. He's worried sick about me. I've been keeping my distance. I don't know what to do, man. Because either way, it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. There's someone out there picking off our family members and shit. And now we've been asked to put the pine to the prince. Man, I ain't a murderer. I ain't like that. That ain't what I ever wanted.
Not whatever I wanted either. And to be honest, Slap, man to man, like just having a conversation with you right now, it's probably better that you keep your brother at arm's length or better. Don't let what happened to me happen to you.
No,
it only gets worse.
Trust me, Sully. My soul and my heart goes out to you. I hate to say it, but it's been a learning experience for me. And I hate that you were the one who it had to happen to.
He'll turn to face away and just stare out the window at that point. I'm glad that neither one of us learned a lesson quicker than the other. But Balthazar, right? Let's get going
to the bowling alley.
All right. You guys more or less are driving in silence, right? The aspect that you got to go to a weird, obscure bowling alley anywhere related to the city is pretty, I won't say unusual. We'll just say that you feel like, all right, it's kind of an effort. Is that the term you want to use? I think it is. And finding the place isn't hard, right? It's in the city. It's pretty good. You can kind of get the address there, no problem. And you get on out there. But what's weird to you is that this place has been, looks like a redesign of some sort. And they call it Whirly Ball. That is what this seriously, this outside place is called Whirly Ball. You don't even know what the hell that is. And you have to look up the place that they used to exist out in the suburbs that they talk about it, that advertise it. And it's some cross between like lacrosse, bumper cars, and basketball that I guess people could play. And when that's not going on, it's 12 lanes of bowling. And all right, so when you guys get there, it's a bowling night, right? You can smell that there's pizza in the air and libations to be had, and typical sense that you can smell a bowling alley. And it seems to be real weird that this is where any kindred would hang out. Now, I want you guys to note that it's also not hard for you to get why he would be here. Where it's in the city, it's in an okay part of town, right? It's near the Bedford Park area, it seems. If you guys have your locales right, not that that's a big deal breaker. If you don't, it's just driving here. The impression you get is that it's easy, it's a cleaner neighborhood. Seems like a lot's going on, and this looks like a real nice bowling alley. And getting out, parking, getting inside, it's a different look. I don't know what you envision as a bowling alley, but when you see big screen TVs and, of course, the bowling alleys themselves, kind of a glow tone, they look nice and clean. It's a good representative of a place that you want to hang out at, but it seems more. Does the term forced come to mind? Is that what you would call it? Chicago's known for places that have a certain feel for a certain group. And what you don't get about this place is that you're going to have anybody lacking in, well, funds is going to hang out here because it seems more adult. You know what I mean? Like, if adults want to go bowling, they're going to come here. Right? Because kids aren't really going to find that much to do. And sure, they could bowl, but mostly it's for drinking, hanging out, and kind of letting loose while doing something fun. Mm-hmm. That makes sense to you. And that's, of course, what this place is all about. And you can tell because how they cater to this whole bar style setup here. And what we mean by that is, it's the final shot here, and I promise I'll let you get back to it. Wow, that was weird. Let's try that one more time. Now, this is a nice set of the bowling alley, right? You guys are sitting on nice couches or the bench if you choose in the bowling area, and that's where one could be. I say you because you'll see here shortly where Balthazar's at. But the setup. Once you take these photos in stride here, and as you walk in the door, it's to the side, and there's a counter, and they're asking you about shoe rentals if you need them and all this other stuff and who you're here with. They have nice, clean, like tablets that they're clicking on to try to see what party or how many is in your party that you're going to have. And you see corporate sign-up sheet that's off to the right, and there's a manager's office clearly marked, and everything's got a plaque and a place for everything in its place. You can get a little something for popcorn or something with pizza, but that's about it. And the rest of it is like beer, all sorts of beer that they have on top. Over 33 different varieties, in fact, and that one could get into and kind of have a lot of fun here and let loose. And it being about 8:05, 8:10 here, you can see that there are people who've gotten here with friends that do just that. Mostly they're drinking. And you can see that there are 3 bowling lanes up and going with crowds of people there. And the person who sticks out the most is the guy who's sitting at the window farthest from the bar, sitting in one of the booths and the chairs. And of course, that's Balthazar. Now, he doesn't look like he does in this photo in terms of blood on his face, but he is somebody who has this outfit on that seems dated, and something that maybe would have been hot, I'd say circa 2010, right? Maybe something a little pop collar-esque that would be a nice white dress shirt, and on it are these flashy buttons, what have you, that looks a little, someone would say yuppie, like he's trying to sell that he's into the tight shirt mob. You know what I mean? Like we're here to look good while we're wearing it, but he looks a little too wild because his haircut's older than the shirt he has. And honestly, people kind of sense that about him, like leaving him to his own. Not a whole lot of folk want to go by him, but you have no problem picking him out. And even if you didn't know what he looked like by description from Genghis or seeing him from afar, you get that has to be the guy you're talking to. There's nobody else in this bar that stands out that much.
I mean, Slappy would start off by heading over to the shoe rental, like just to rent some shoes just in case.
Shoe rental, and they're just like, I'm sorry, do you have a lane you want to run out? So like, how many are in your party?
And then he'll be like, hold up, I'll be right back. I got 3, but I'm not sure what our plan is yet.
She'll look odd, like you. Okay, we can get you. All right, yeah. Let us know when you're ready.
Hey, thanks. And Slappy will look to Sully and then be like, so what's the plan here? How do you want to go about this?
The way we're going about it is the original plan itself. You have a better connection than I do to your people. It's been made apparently so by Genghis regarding certain things. I know that we have a lot of things to talk about. One of them being Anita, the other Riot, the other Carlisle, and the other Cornelius. take your pick. Anything that we could do to assist with that part of the situation, and if you could feel him out to see where his leanings are. If he's something that we could probably work with, then we could let him in on a piece of the pie.
And Slappy will just look at Sully and he'll be like, all right, follow my lead. And he'll start heading over to Balthazar.
And Sully will play wingman to
An eerie thing that happens is you're playing wingman walking over to him, to Balthazar. The lady's waiting at the counter but doesn't say anything as you walk off, so you leave that alone. And as you approach Balthazar, he just sits in your direction, his eyes unblinking, and he'll have a raised eyebrow, looking rather non-impressed, right? What I mean by that, has a definite emotive look on his face of just utter, great, right? You can see that as you guys come walking up. He still doesn't say anything as he doesn't stand to greet you guys at all. He just stares at both of you.
Slappy will extend his hand and say, Slappy, we spoke on the phone.
Who the fuck is this? I'm not shaking your hand.
This is Sully.
he'll extend his hand. Sullivan Carter.
Yeah, good for you. If I'm not shaking his hand, why am I shaking yours, Sullivan?
Off a good start.
Yeah, Slappy will kind of just like take his hand away and like, do like the like put both his hands up like he meant no foul, like, okay.
You certainly can if you want to put some onus on that, right? Obviously, try not to offend here. There are roles for this, and this is called the opener, right? NPC just walked up to you, feel like it kind of went off. Is there a way to disarm it? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, I would like to potentially disarm it if possible.
Absolutely. That's what etiquette is for.
Oh man, something that Slappy's not familiar with.
So you still can roll your charisma. It's just your -2 dice for the roll.
Question, Bob. Would I be able to wingman him and probably assist him somehow? Either give him a visual cue,
Sure.
or anything.
If you can explain to me how Sullivan might give him an assist here to smooth it over.
That's a good question. The only other way I could think of is me as the player, maybe not, but Sully, with at least having saving face, could pick up on cues of what type of people he'd be closing or not closing on.
So what we'll do is we'll make this a success test. Both of you will roll, and we'll take into account his lack of etiquette and your having it. You'll both roll your charisma etiquette. Best roll wins, and that's the result we're going to go with.
One success.
Geez, 2 success.
So what happens here is that you guys do what's typical in this situation. And when you raise your hands in the air, it's like you're like, geez, I don't know what I did. What's wrong? You'll see that quickly Sullivan's like going, it's nothing. It's just not handshaking's is a dated thing, and also not his thing. It's not what he wants to do. Everybody has a reason, right? Let's just not make a thing of it. And you go and sit down. What we're highlighting here is that is all this is, FYI. I'm going to point out as an ST, and I'll start doing this more often, or I'm trying to. If you get Balthazar as a guy with low humanity, right? We could tell by the description. He is somebody with dated clothing, a little anachronistic. His eyes are more predatory, for shit sure. And he seems to be unblinking. He's somebody who has no problem being what he is out in the open, and it kind of puts him off with everybody else in the room. Mortals don't see him as accurately as you do to stare at him because they can't bring themselves to stare at him directly because they'd be afraid they'd draw his attention. And that's something he seems to cultivate. Also, you both can remember it was said this guy was a former sheriff. This is someone who's used to yoking the fear that he produces in others. And so shaking hands is a great way to say, I don't have an attachment to you, and I can do anything I want to you. And it's hammering home to you in this. What I'm going to say is that's what a wingman does here, is when he brings this up, Slappy, it's as if a silent reminder of, just remember, this isn't our friend, but we want him to be.
Right. Is he just looking him over? Is he wearing bowling shoes?
Not at all. Looking at him, he's wearing these boots that look to be Doc Martens. And now that you pay closer attention, that white button-up shirt, he has red suspenders.
Huh. Slappy will look at one of the lanes and then look at him and then be like, he's like, came here to chat. Do you want to play a game while we chat? A gentleman's game?
You want to bowl or do you want to talk?
Well, I wanted to talk, but yeah. And Slappy will take a seat.
While we're in a bowling alley, if you didn't know, no one's going to overhear our discussion. Right? Loud noises, we talk, it's just going to be us. You can still hear me. You get the point?
Right. Yeah. Loud clattering of the pins. It's a
Now,
good move.
If you need to play with balls, Boys Town's not that far from here. I can wait.
Slappy's gonna I guess it's not that funny to Slappy, but I'd like to make it seem like it was like a funny comment, right? Like almost like it can roll off his back, like good one, man. Like
if that's what Slappy thinks, so you're trying to get him to feel that okay, you're funny, get along with his jokes. That is a manipulation-based thing. But what I'm going to say is also it's based on saving face, right? You're trying to make it seem like it didn't bother you.
Right.
You know, like we're kind of here to fit in. Instead of it being a role of just straight up you're manipulating him, how about we make this I'm going to say it's a question of resolve, right? A resolve, and we're going to use subterfuge just to say that your guy's still in pocket and how well he keeps that face. And actually, that's wrong. Let's make it composure because that makes most sense, right? You're composed. There's no miscuing what you're doing.
3 successes.
It's exactly what you do. You know, you just like, good one, man. And you do that and just you're chill and cool in the game. However, you're going to note something. Because of your successes and the way you're laughing, you'll see he's not laughing at all as he stares almost right through you, Slappy.
Gotcha. Awkward low humanity trying to relate with high humanity. And yeah, so Slappy will take that seat and he'll be like, so anyway, yeah, got a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Thanks for taking time to meet with us, me and my associate.
Yeah, you're welcome. What I need you to do, Sullivan, is you're going to be rolling your wits, and we're going to say politics.
Mm.
And the reason we're doing this is because you saw an interaction right here between the two of them that doesn't exactly make sense, but let's see if Sully can remember why it would make sense in a way. Yeah, there's something about this guy. You don't remember what it was. It was something about the way he was as sheriff, you think. You can't really recall it. It's hitting you awkward, and you can't place it. But by the way he just coldly stone-faced Slappy, there's something up there. But Slappy, Balthazar will not lean back, not slouch at all. He just is staring at you as if he's waiting for you to continue.
So anyway, what we came here to talk about is so we've been asked to try and get either Anita or Riot to accept the Primogen position for Clan Brujah.
Why the fuck do you care?
Pardon?
Why do you care?
Well, we've been asked to do it. So it's kind of like I care because it's my clan, you know.
Who asked you to do it?
And then Slappy will pat Sullivan on the knee and then be like,
This guy, he'll point to Sullivan. This guy asked you.
Nah, he's just got a little more information about it. How about it, Sullivan? Let him know.
Hold a hand up. Hold up a hand up. Hang on a second. And I'll point to you, Slappy. You shut up. And before you start talking, let's get one thing clear. Let's not pull my dick or waste my time. Which one of you am I dealing with?
You're dealing with me.
Yeah? Well, then, who asked you?
It was Ballard.
Why are you running around doing stuff for that fat bastard?
That's a great question, but we're and Slappy like clears his throat a little, and he says we're in a little bit of an agreement with him regarding some things, owe him some favors.
That's rich. It's not good enough that you're a traitor to your own blood, but now you're pulling for Balthazar and you're making it official for Clan too. That's the first for me.
And then Slappy will like cock his eyebrow a little, be like, traitor to my own blood.
Hey, where were you born, Slappy? You certainly weren't born Slappy.
I don't understand the question.
Where the fuck did you fall out of your mother's vagina at?
Right here in Chicago.
Yeah? How long ago was that?
About 40 years now.
Yeah, it's a long time. That's a long time. And you don't get what I mean about being a race traitor.
Oh, I see. It's one of those things.
It's one of those things.
So you must know what I do.
No, I know what you lied and said you did.
Ain't no lying.
No, it's a lie. See, I was there at the meeting where your sire stood up for himself. And, think like I might about the whole situation of race. There's a reason for that. There's a certain look you can cultivate, a certain way of being. And there's something that nobody's addressed that is still a fact to this day. Immigration, space, room, that's always been a problem of native born Americans. Always. And we warned that you would ruin this great nation by opening up all the doors to the rest of the world, and we weren't wrong. And they're going to take, and I'll point to you, our youth, and they're going to poison their mind and tell them that it's okay, that they can't get the jobs they were here to get, and they can't love the culture and embrace who they were because they're going to forget about who they were and where they're from. Now, I get that we could be born in America and that we took it from the Native Americans, but that's the cost of expansion. No matter where you're at in history, there's always somebody who wins and someone who loses. And it's that simple. But we hit a time, a turning point, where because industrialists need to have the slave labor, they freed those slaves. And if you happen to live through that point, you understand that when they freed those slaves, they told the South they couldn't have those slaves and it was wrong to have them, but the North had them too. Well, those Northern businesses realized that when they freed them up, they're free to hire them for, again, the term slave wage comes from somewhere. They just rehooked them, called it something different, and it was still a lie. And they worked them to death. And colored people smiled for it. They all did. But they also caught their own in it. Right? Polish people, German people, Russians, you name it, Scandinavian, it doesn't matter. Eastern European people, good people, immigrated here and actually cleared the forest, had the guts to go where nobody would go, pioneer and frontier clear areas, making it safe to be in. All this other people, we'll call them, came over here and on the back of the risk we took, came here and took what land we had for our children. And how were they able to do it? When we were out fighting the war to make America free, and then we had to fight again for the North versus the South because that bullshit happened, which is always based on making somebody rich. Here we are. And Chicago's no different. Fat cats like Balthazar, getting rich off the blood, sweat, and tears from the working class and making something for themselves. And now have your history tell it, y'all won. And they take a nice little schoolboy like you and tell you, hey, don't worry, because we're all equal. And we have never been equal. It's never been about fucking equality. Civil rights is a thing when all it was a scare tactic we were doing to make space for our own people. Now you can't even tell me my own people. It's like they're non-existent. Tell me at what point, Slappy, it became okay to embrace a culture that's not yours and to forget your roots and where you came from. Chicago's not a culture. That's just the name of a city. What's your fucking people?
Slappy's he shrugs his shoulders and he's like, man, everyone's my people. It ain't like that.
Yeah, well,
what I want.
That's the fucking problem. You're a Brujah with no loyalty. Unless it's to yourself, and you're saying it again. It's on deaf ears. Everything I just said, I had hoped there was a spark, there was something in you that knew what to stand up for and to see a truth. You don't want the truth. You want to get along to get along. You're a type of person who wants to listen to hip hop and talk about fat bitches and what is that new thing? You want to see that Harlem Shake and drop down and get the eagle on, and the entire time tell me that you want equal rights for women when you're the one whoring them out.
Slappy's gonna like clench his fist and like narrow his eyes and be like, man, that ain't me though.
Yeah? You upstairs and you doing the blues, right? Because that's what came from your people is the blues, right?
It didn't come from my people, but you don't need to be black to play the blues. You just need to have the soul for it.
Yeah. What soul do you know?
What kind of question is that?
That's an honest question. What soul do you know?
I know my soul. I know the life that I've been through. I know the trials and tribulations that have brought me here right now, speaking to you. Look, I get what you're saying to a certain extent, but that don't make it right. It's just a difference of opinion.
Oh, it makes it right. That's the whole problem. It's right, and you know my angle's right, and you want to talk business. You came here to talk what exactly? Came in here open mouth and said, give me something. That mentality that you're just going to be given something for opening your fucking mouth and not having the courtesy to know who I am or where I'm from or what I'm about, and you come in here thinking you're owed something when you can't even give loyalty to your own people. You don't even know where you're from. Why? Because some nigger came along and made you his little puppet, and he filled you up with the great white hope of equality that you think you can have because you went to school and got a degree in slave history and slaveonomics. And then you turned around and got enslaved by the system that's really classism that they're going to tell you is not racially biased. And it's so racially biased that the blacks are going to tell you it's against them when really they're the ones who get the swing jobs now and get the discounts and the bills and the help and the assistance. Meanwhile, we're pushed out into rural areas and told, hey, it's cheaper cost of living like dogs. And we can't even be in the cities we fucking built. You're going to sit here and tell me it doesn't matter. I'm not someone who got this in a history book. I lived through the era, boy.
Slappy he shakes his head and he says, I don't think that our difference of opinion here can change.
You better get the fuck out of here before I roll your head and get a strike.
Yeah, I think I will.
And do me a favor and throw change in the hat outside too. I think they're playing Will Smith's greatest hits for something.
Slappy is like, he gets up and he's really trying to rein it in right now. Like,
you can. This guy's good, right? At doing apparently that. And I've been waiting for you to say resolve composure, but I'm also respecting the fact that you can be playing a character who doesn't come from his era or what he's lived through, and you just don't think like he does. But it's perfectly understandable to be like, this dude's trying to piss you off, and now he's crossing the line. So it's up to you if you would like a resolve composure, not a reining in, or knowing that you're getting pissed, you can just walk outside.
I think Balthazar's made it clear, and I will just leave like the situation entirely. Like he's definitely gotten under Slappy's skin enough, and he doesn't want to fucking frenzy inside this bowling alley.
For Sullivan, this doesn't begin to even talk about the level of awkwardness as you're sitting in front of Balthazar, who goes from that hateful gaze. And by the way, you see him grin.
Mhm.
Like he finally grins when he sees he's getting a Slappy as Slappy's walking away. And he'll turn and look at you and let that old mustache grin of his just drop away to stare at you. Then there was you.
He'll simply stare at Balthazar for a moment. Do I still have that compulsion on me, Bob?
Yeah, I said for the scene, sir.
Yep. He'll still have Balthazar and he'll just cross his hands and he's like, see, the difference between me and him was that he actually gave a shit and he tried. He might not know his way but I know why I'm here. Anita and or Riot at the table. And it ain't so much because of Ballard, but it's going to be because it's what's going to keep your clan at the table as well. Keep my
clan at what table?
Oh, the brute. Well, I won't say that. And you'll lean back. Are you not part of his ilk?
What is it today? Is it literally people who don't know what the fuck they're talking about day?
Well, I guess this convo's done.
Yeah, it might be done, except for the fact that what you're telling me is that you guys are running around now. We're trying to sell a Brujah Primogen. Like we need a seat, like we even have a seat. You should probably know that another, I'm sorry, I'll be politically correct because I noticed that we can't use the old terms. The black guy killed a white man in cold blood, and somehow we're not hunting every Brujah of color that did something.
Are you trying to imply that's how Critias went?
I'm trying to imply that's how Critias went. I'm trying to imply, where were you? You're aware of what Theo Bell did, right? We don't have a seat at the table at the Camarilla anymore. Are you paying attention?
This is the city we're talking about.
No, it's not the city we're talking about. What? You think Kevin Jackson, you think that metal art's going to throw a magical position to someone randomly? And then I'm missing out the fact that what are your two candidates now?
Riot and or Anita.
Right, two white women. How big of a cosmic joke can we get? The prince of the city, who's some Negro, is now going to get a strong white woman either way to sit the position to represent Clan Brujah, which has always stood for the working class kindred in any given point of the city. Say what you want about Theo Bell. I mean, I'd agree that he was cooked a little longer than the rest of us, but at least he had the balls to swing on what he believed in. And I could get behind that. What I don't get behind is how you, a Ventru who wouldn't know hard work if it bit him in the ass, are coming in here silver spoon in mouth and hand in the pocket, puppeting. You pretty much up the ass of that young Brujah to tell him how to talk, but I expect that from him. His whole existence has been doing what you're told. Let me make it pretty clear for you. What was your name again?
Sullivan Carter.
Sullivan. You don't know who you're talking to. That's your first problem. You walked in here because Genghis told you to talk to me, and if you knew anything about Genghis, he's laughing his ass off. He's a fucking anarch. I'm not an anarch. Not an anarch by sight. I used to be the sheriff of this town. You should probably look that up and figure out who the fuck you're talking to before you make yourself look like a ridiculous, sloppy mess walking in here and confirming it. Now, this is your pass. You two, don't you ever approach me again unless you have something up for it. And right now, empty pockets. Pay me for my fucking time.
What do you want?
Call it another test. What's it worth to you? Because to me, I'm not entertained by this. This doesn't make me happy. I simultaneously learn that the white man's plight is on deaf ears, and it's been given away to the minorities of the known world, and that may never change. Black lives matter. And then it's going to turn around and tell me, oh, by the way, and that's still being beaten, regardless of the fact that the king of violence, the lord of blood, the one who made us the murder capital of the world, they put in as prince after a real prince died. That's what they fucking did. And I'm supposed to be happy about that. And look what a bang up job he's done. Still the murder capital of the world. It's just now we've moved people around a bit. And guess who has to pay that? Our fucking taxes go up. I wonder whose idea that was.
He'll nod for a moment and he'll steeple his fingers. What if it wasn't the case? What if he doesn't have to be on top?
Oh, I can't believe I'm hearing what I'm hearing. Before I tell you that it'd be a novel idea that Kevin Jackson somehow got folded in half and put somewhere very uncomfortable, I don't know, like the end of a rope, I would say that would be the best news ever. Be fantastic. But while we're hoping, how about you crown me king and make that story true? Maybe burn all the Sabbat in a glorious pyre. That's another good one we could say. How about take every anarch and chop their heads off and put them in a neat little bag? Let's wrap it up. Or how about a ritual you can conduct that gives me back the prince that I backed before y'all killed him?
What if I told you that may or may not be possible?
I'm going to tell you to quit pulling my dick and telling me it's not prison.
You know better enough to think that right now, and especially considering the case, if I'm coming in representing Ballard, and this is not Kevin Jackson who's talking about Anita or Riot, don't you think the Primogen have a lot more pull than the Prince does right now?
Listen.
And that this isn't a Prince edict?
Sullivan, I'm going to ask you to stop. And it's not for anything else that I don't know you. And you damn sure have proven you don't know me. And maybe I'd be willing to listen to you, but I think you're going to say anything out of desperation because for some reason, you want an anarch to sit as a member of the Primogen Council. And you're talking to a guy who kills anarchs as a matter of fucking hobby. I'd kill either one of them before they set up on the Primogen Council because of an old order I was given from a guy I respect even from beyond the grave. Get the fuck out of here after you pay me not to maul you.
He'll simply stand up and he'll reply as he just straightens out his jacket and he'll say, I can tell you he's not gone. Simmer on that a bit. We'll have a conversation where we're both cool-headed. And he'll start to walk away.
I can tell you there's a lot of mistakes that one could make. Sullivan just made one. We're right. There's a line to cross and not, and he gave instructions what he wanted you to do, right? Not only did you just say, I'm not going to do that, but you also added what he's probably considering you're completely full of shit. Right? You have nothing to back up for it, and you're saying it, and even if you did, bold DJ, very bold. One thing I'm going to do here is just see how this goes right now.
I'll blame my compulsion. Instead of arrogance, I couldn't walk away from it. You said the scene bomb.
I did say that. Some things I'd fight. That's one of them. What you see is when you say it again, you're going to see this guy give a monumental amount of him just keeping it in check, right? But his is more visible, right? His eyes light up, and you see him grinning a little bigger than he should. As you're like, you make that comment, he goes, yeah, sure is, I bet. And he's going to walk through that door and offer me a job, is what you're telling me? That's what he's going to do? And he says, you're forgetting something, and he'll tap the table. And if I got to tell you again, it's not going to be good.
Bob, would I be able to? Because DJ might not know offhand, but there would be something that I would be able to roll to give me an idea of what I can offer this gentleman.
Yeah, absolutely. I could do that here, just no problem. I think for Sullivan, um, DJ might have missed it. I don't think Sullivan would. This
Hmm.
guy is really pushing money, right?
Uh,
Mentioned the position he had, money. His whole conversation was about money that he was talking to about Slappy about position and what we once had and everything. You're getting the impression either he's on hard times or he's been living through hard times, and he doesn't
uh,
think he once had.
he'll he'll pause a moment and he'll take a look, and at that moment, still considering what compulsion he's under. It's not that he'll grin as much as he'll let, because he does have low humanity. He'll let his facade slip a second as he just meets another predator for a second, but he'll dig into his pocket, and he'll pull out whatever wads of cash he has, and just out of sheer arrogance, whatever he has in terms of sheer bills, he'll just slide it over on the table.
Now, in terms of sheer bills and what you have on him, this is so I know as an ST, probably a quirk of a Sullivan's. How much would you keep on you?
He'd probably at least keep 5 bills on him, easy
Okay.
in various amounts.
When you slide that much over, it's kind of sad to see his disposition change a bit. As he'll grab it off the table and he'll fold it over in half and stuff it in his pockets. All right, you're good.
He'll go, consider what I said, and if that was enough to wet your whistle, we'll talk again. He'll actually pull out his card and he'll just leave it on the table and walk away.
When you slide the card on the table, he'll tap his fingers. Let's just cut the shit and we'll make it real simple. You need somebody broken in half, you let me know. But if you're about to tell me if what your friend said at all or what you're implying here is anything true, and it's Kevin fucking Jackson, if you let me know how you plan to crack the nut of where he stays, fantastic, I'm in. But that's not a secret.
He'll smile and he'll be like, good. Then I'll let you know when that day comes.
And he'll just make sure that he has his hand over the card a little longer, so he'll slide it to himself. It's going to cost you a lot more than what you just paid, though, for something like that. What you're asking, and understand what you're asking, is something you got to pull off and be good at doing it. That means no primogen can stand in your way about it, and you're going to need to run the bases. If you're going to do it, you got to do it smart. You're right about one thing. It's not Kevin Jackson that sits up there alone. He's supported by that fat bastard you're working for and a couple other primogen for sure. And that's who props him up. That's the power around here. And where they may not have liked me as sheriff and they gave that little niglet my job, you need to understand that they're the ones who made the call nonetheless. And they're the ones who control that. And that means they got the backing of the Justicars. That means you're not just waging war on the title. Be smart about it. And where right now, what I'm saying is, yeah, I'd love to see him put in a very, very bad place. I'm not saying I'm about to go do it just because. And it ain't a crime to hate someone. But I think we know enough to understand each other, don't we, Sullivan?
As much as he hates to admit it, Sullivan will simply give him a nod in affirmation. Be seeing you, Balthazar. Thank you for your time.
He more than gives you the last word as he sits down, putting that money in his pocket, and there's not a smirk on his face. He seems contemplative as you head for the door, getting that last look.
He'll proceed to look for Slappy.
Slappy outside. You've had time to you. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Slappy would just be outside, kind of leaning against the car, arms folded over his chest, like waiting for Sullivan to come out.
Sullivan will step out, but the look on him is a lot more firm than it was before. Whatever facade of humanity he had, he's now a little bit, if not closer to where Balthazar had been as he sees him. He's not going to break a smile as much as he's just going to say, he's game. Game for the big plan. So at least he's going to walk away empty-handed.
Slappy will like put his arms out and be like, You literally told me not to talk about the big plan.
I told you not to talk about it. But you know what he did? He talked about it.
Slappy will like roll his eyes and be like, well, I'm glad that your conversation with Archie Bunker went well.
I don't like him. I don't have to like him. But in this game, to be honest, tools are tools. And if it ends up being that he's willing to do the work, that's one more person who will be able to assist us. He did say something of importance, though. We're not going to be able to do this alone. And it's foolish, beyond foolish, to think that we're going to be a Suicide Squad and run directly into it. We need other people to back us. We got Ballard. He's down. Good. Now we need to make sure that everyone else is in the same pocket and just views. And currently views Jackson as being an issue.
Yeah, well, we know Genghis ain't down, so that's one out.
Unless we make it worth his while, but we could talk about that a little bit later. We got to work on everyone else. We got to worry about Warren's fucking mouth. Either way, is there anything else you want to do?
Nah, man. That guy got under my fucking skin. Let's just roll out.
He'll stop walking for a second and he'll look to Slappy and he'll be like, oh, hold on. Why'd he get under your skin?
What do you mean? He literally questioned everything I am.
But what are you?
Fuck, I don't know. He made it a race thing. I thought we were past that, but that monument back there apparently ain't happy with the way I conduct myself.
If there's anything I've learned from my time around your kin, it's always that they're passionate about something. I'm not saying I agree with his worldview, but he's definitely passionate about something. And if there's anything I could usually tell whenever I'm closing a sale, is whether or not I could either get the hubby or the wifey to buy in. And usually it's whoever has the most passion wins out, because why? That's the one who drives the vehicle. If it doesn't seem, and from that conversation, that you were willing to stand up for your beliefs and at least challenge him, I think he would have respected you more for it. I'm just saying. But that being the case, I knew where he was coming from, because he's just a really bigoted person who has his point of view, but that's his platform. That's what he's standing on. What platform are you standing on?
Slappy will like get in like real close and he'll be like, the platform I stand on is for equality for everybody. That's what I've always been about. That motherfucker's in there literally talking about how he owned slaves and how that was the downfall of America.
He'll nod once. Next time, my friend, you want to tell him what the real reason you believe the downfall of America was, or anything at all. Just remember, stand up and say something, because what you don't want to do is have someone else close the deal. But I got your back. So whatever you need to do, I'm here for you.
Slappy's just going to start getting into the car, kind of mumbling under his breath.
And Sully will follow after.
All right. To that end, barring anything else, we're going to put the dagger in the scene for tonight. I'd like to commend the holding it together. I'm actually stunned that no Brujah frenzies happened tonight. I for certain thought that was. Balthazar is a very enriching, complicated character, like they all are, and so are you guys. And so it's always interesting what first encounters are going to do. But because you have etiquette, and I'm going to tell you that you used it successfully and seen both of you, that's going to be an extra XP, so it's 2 based. I'm going to keep that. So it's 2 you get off the bat. However, the one thing I want to point out, I understand this scene came and we didn't have time to warm up and all that. But we want to remember that if we're trying to do something plot-wise, you're very correct. We don't want to lead with that on our lips. Right? If it makes sense, I don't know if you guys ever had to do it, and it's fine. You seem like standing upright, non-dramatic guys. If you've ever dealt in social circles, you'll know that if somebody leans in and tells you, by the way, Joni's sleeping with Sammy, right? So don't bring it up. That the best way to avoid it is not to go to Sammy and go, we just heard that you're sleeping with Joni, but we're not going to say anything. It's you know what I mean?
Right.
You have that level of innocence to you. Like you were told several things. However, there was eventual derangement to consider, not derangement. I'm sorry, I said that delusion to be considered that was in effect. There's many ways one could play that out. Kind of find it cheeky that Sullivan chose to go the route of, hey man, it's the compulsion. But it's making fun of Warren at the same time and saying that, no, why did he lead with that? We can work on it. As an ST, it could try to save you if your character has better means of delivery, but that's not what it's always about. And sometimes innocently, you're going to walk up and say it. But to help you out, Bernogle, who might be new to those type of scenarios, you dictate always. Whenever you're going to make a meeting with someone, you're the one who's supposed to come in with the business and say what you got to say. But a critical element, you guys don't know who you were sitting down to meet with.
Oh,
You're
definitely not.
you might want to talk to this. To avoid that in the future, DJ, I'm going to remind you for like the 5th time.
Mhm.
You took something on your sheet that helps you out with knowing who people are in the city.
Right. I'm going to note that.
Right? It's like I'm staring right at it. And do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. My lore sheet. Or rather, my kindred, my coterie merit.
Yes, the coterie merit for the venture that you took. And it's super important. It's something you could use to do that would help like dividends for you to figure out what and who or why you're dealing with someone. The second thing is, and as a recommendation for Bernogle, it's just when you're there and you have that character, you know what's out there. I'll just come out and say it. Where you know you have broken ties with your sire, are you beginning to see how bad that could be if people know of that?
Oh yeah, definitely. You can see how it's been a huge hindrance to Slappy for most social situations.
Well, I'm not even saying for just Slappy. What I'm pointing out is that you took a complex character that goes in the face of the norm of some very sensitive topics, especially for a big time civil rights city like Chicago, and divided lines and segregation and battling it out and dealing with it. And every city, right, that has there's a reason certain political sensitivities are in the mind's eye right now and in the limelight. However, we know all that, and we talked about that when you had the character. I know you're on the up and up, and no one's offended by it. But what I'm pointing out is that with the city having a history like it do, this is something to be in touch with. That ever, if you are in hot water, and meaning not mad, but like I don't understand what is going on right now, you have the right to pause and go, "Can I ask what's going on right here? Because I'm missing why this person might be upset." Or I'm not getting on that. I just want to make sure you know that you always have a chance to do that. Don't feel that you got to be choked out, socially speaking, because you don't know what's going on. I don't expect you to be a massive civil rights person or to know the ins and outs of everybody you talk about, or what a white supremacist thinks, or a sympathizer for a racist cause might think, or you know what I mean? That's not what you're playing. You're playing a guy who's a blues musician, blues musician who might pick up magic as a side job. I'm teasing. And that's the focus we're on. That comes from a very interesting background that is civil rights motivated, but you don't have to be a master of it to have that too. So if ever you're like, I'm trying to figure out where this guy's coming from, is he like a skinhead racist, or is he a Klansman racist, or is he just like a quote unquote nationalist? Right? Do I know the angle? Because that also gives you insight on how to deal with a bastard like that too.
Right. No, I'll remember that for the future, because definitely knowing what breed of racism I'm dealing with would help. And
if the guy's even really racist, I know this much. If I know that you were friends with, like, let's say in your history, for whatever reason, it was known, you're a famous blues musician who's known that you played for Malcolm X at a birthday party. Odds are I know exactly how to push your buttons. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So we do know that when you left, because I'm pointing this out, so I want you guys to miss out on this. When you left, that's when Sullivan, you were braced for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's walking away, and this came up. You might not have given money if it was in front of him, but with him walking away, you were more apt to, because clearly you wanted something, and he could smell it, and you figured it out, right? The old cash rules everything around me kind of comes up here for a little bit and gives you that in and that insight. And for that alone, I'm saying you guys take it. Don't take it as just me lecturing you. I'm trying to help you see the full picture. So I think I feel your characters would get that walking away. And don't let these bastards in Chicago make you feel like, hey, every time I talk to someone, I'm losing. But no. They're great characters with a lot of history written that way, but you have characters that are moving and shaking and changing the way things are. You're going to find flack and you're going to find allies. It's just you're going through that process. So, but for being good sports, 3XP you're getting total, both of you. And one of you can nom the other, but you both can't nom each other.
I definitely like to nominate DJ. I think he handled that scene much better than I did. Just even with carrying his arrogance compulsion with him throughout the scene. Like, yeah, my nom's for DJ.
All right, for that noble diving in the grenade, DJ, I will confirm it if you can tell me what you think Bernogle did that helped you feel that it wasn't Bernogle, it was his character.
That it was his character and not Bernogle himself.
You got it.
For me, it was the two things that gave me the idea of what Slappy is now. One was definitely in the car scene where even though Sullivan was losing his shit, Slappy is a humanist at heart. His equality is literally because he doesn't see the hard lines that Balthazar sees. And that confuses Sully in the first place. But me as the player start seeing that he's giving that impression off. And then when Sullivan confronted him and he's like, man, I've seen Brujah before. And when I'm looking at Brujah, they're usually really, really fucking fired up about something. But you're not. And it was a stereotype that like Slappy broke because he's like, I'm about everyone. And that's what everyone's not getting is like Slappy is about everyone. And I don't understand why you don't understand that this is who I am as a person. Stop trying to put me in a spot. Right. That's what I took as Slappy's character. At least that's how I'm interpreting Slappy's character from the scene tonight.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that. And because of that, you can get the extra XP he nominated for. As a generous offer that he gave you, and you have it. May seem unorthodox. There's a method that players do, and I've caught on, where we will nom the person opposite of us in the hopes they nom us. So what I'm doing is not challenging that. I still think people should get recognition for what they do. But what feels better than that nom or extra XP is when that person can confirm why they would have nommed the person who mentioned them. In other words, we spread that love around. And I think that's just as motivational. And it's a tough call. One of you was going to get 4. The other one's going to get 3. And that's just how it panned out this time. And it's no harm or bias. It's just that I agree. I agree all around. I do commend you, Bernogle, for that. Not only being able to stay that, but like having a rational a point to like, hey, what era are you from, bro? Like, you calm down a bit. Like, I'm not even 40 years ago. We played blues back in the day. Nobody had a problem with. Yeah, okay, you're that guy. All right. I had said shades of everyone who's ever dealt with someone. Where are you from? I was born in the 30s. Jesus. Okay. There's no winning an argument here, folks. We're just gonna each enjoy your pudding. I'll talk to you later. You know what I mean? And there's all these subtle comments you dropped too that I was tickled to hear. But Sullivan, DJ, I like how you portrayed the clan delusion, even to the detriment of your character.
Right. It's a compulsion for a reason.
When you walked outside, and I want you to know this, Slappy, it is something noticeable. Sullivan, moments ago, to the death said, "Don't mention shit," right? And you called him out on it. You were like, "Oh, it's okay. It's bad if Warren does it, but if you fucking do it, apparently there's a right way. What is going on?" And then he immediately had this like pompous fucking response to it. That's different from the guy who was shitting Tiffany cufflinks before the meeting, i.e., please take into character that where the hell did this arrogant asshole come from?
Right.
As if he told you it's do as I say, not as I do. And that was it. And then you just get away and drive away. So, but that's going to end what we got to do tonight, guys. I do appreciate you getting together on a kind of an off cycle to get it done. But it's well worth seeing to have documented and get the ball rolling. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Bernogle and Bob. That was good.
Appreciate y'all. It was a good scene.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're all done, Brennan.
Thank you for listening to our 25 Years of Vampire the Masquerade podcast. If you like what you heard and want to support us, please share it with others or leave a review. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.